Go.
Hello, and welcome to another week of the Xbox North podcast. North, episode number 23. It's November. That means all the games, every single game that's supposed to be made will come out this month. It won't come out any other months. It's going to come out this month. So that's November, folks. Welcome to November. I'm Andrew Ravindran. With me as my two buddies, my two dads, Joshua James and Dan Robertson. I'm so happy to come back, especially for November. You know what I mean? I'm so happy to have this episode for November. Let's start with you, Josh. How's it going, my man?
Well, as you were saying, yes, it is November, Andrew. It's starting to get colder out there for sure. Oh man, it was pretty chilly this morning. Dan, it must be getting pretty cold up where you are.
Pretty chilly. No snow yet, though.
But things are good. Kids are good. Playing a lot of games. Just beat Scarlet Nexus. Man, the end of that game is quite grueling. It's just like bad guy after bad guy. They'll be like, oh, usually you fight a battle and it's just one of those, like, you could say almost like kind of like elite characters. The higher health bar, they'll be like, here's 3 of them at once. And then like the last 2 bosses were like 4 phases. They were tough, man. Some of them were pretty challenging, actually. I was surprised. Because I didn't find the game that challenging, but the end, they really throw a lot at you. So I'm glad I got that done before Forza comes out next week for sure. So that's good. And I was messing around with this Echo Generation game. I don't think I'll continue with it, but
yeah,
I do like the art style of it for sure.
It's pretty.
Looks cool.
It definitely, and it has a really nice like lighting system to it. So it's pretty interesting.
Question for you, Josh, since you were talking about Scarlet Nexus. Are you going to play it again with the different character?
No, actually, no. I'm not going to go through the other character. It's funny. I went right back to Final Fantasy 13 after because I never beat it again. So I'm playing that again.
Yeah.
Until Forza comes out next week. So and
That's
then I'll
true.
fall into Forza. Got to unlock every road and try and get all the achievements. Try my best at least. So,
yeah, that's good. Nice. Dan Robertson, how you doing, my friend? You were saying it's not snowing in there, but I'm like, it should snow any moment now.
Not yet. Apparently it starts snowing usually a little later up where I am in the Great North. But yeah, not too much going on up here. It's there's some frost on the car and everything, that's for sure, but not enough snow up here, or not any snow up here just yet, thankfully. Most of my week's been hanging out with the kiddos and stuff and helping with homework and everything. So we ended up actually playing a little bit of Fogs off Game Pass last week, just trying to get the girls into gaming a little more and everything. And they had a lot of fun playing that. You're just a little 2-headed dog and you got to solve all these little puzzles. And we all 3 of us kind of got to play together because I can play co-pilot with my youngest daughter. And then the oldest has her own controller, and we just go around and, like, you can pull stuff apart. You can, like, grab little levers and everything or press buttons with the dog, or you can redirect air in the latest level we're in and everything. It's pretty cool. They've been having a blast, though. Yeah.
Nice. It's amazing. I'm in my head going, like, I wish we did talk more about that co-pilot stuff for Xbox, because I feel like it's not talked about a lot as much as I thought it would be. It's a good feature for games,
It's amazing, especially for kids.
Yeah. Well, man, I feel like kids are like not even thought about because I would love if they came out with a smaller Xbox controller. Like, give me this controller, but just like tiny.
Yeah.
Like on your Oculus Quest, they have these tiny little joysticks, or like the joysticks they have on like the Switch. Actually, the Oculus ones are way better, but
it's actually
make a small controller like this because every small controller is a wired controller. I'm like, why would I want to give a wired controller to a kid? Like, no way. So Microsoft,
I used to toss my N64 on the ground.
But a child, like a kid's version of this, like 25% smaller, or like even more, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Even like take out like Rumble. Like if you have to sacrifice things, like remove Rumble out of here, it doesn't have a headphone jack or something like that, just to like try and make it as small as it can be. Even like, I don't know, triggers, like, I don't know. But like just make it. Like, please.
That would be pretty cool for xCloud. You know what I mean? Especially xCloud on the go as well.
Oh yeah,
little extra portable controller and everything. Ooh. I do have one that's a little smaller, but I don't think, I'm not sure if it was even like an Xbox original controller, because it was made to look kind of like a Super Nintendo controller. So it's a little smaller, a little tighter fitting, but it's wired, like Josh was saying.
Yeah. Is it the 8-bit controller? I think that's what it is.
I forget exactly what it was called. I'd have to go and find it, but
like they're coming out with a pretty cool one from 8-Bit Dough, but it's wired still. Like,
I didn't want to get that, even though I thought it was kind of cute. But I was like, I'm like, what games am I going to play? What games are we going to play with those? But you are right with with that little smaller. Oh, that would be beautiful. That'd just be beautiful on the go.
My youngest, her like biggest problem is like, she can't get to all the buttons at the same time and everything. So it's really difficult. It's not very intuitive for her or anything, because she can't hold it properly. Like, if you could shrink that down at all, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What about yourself, Andrew? How you doing? How's life?
I'm doing good.
How's the actor?
Actor? What is it? There's a reshoot on Saturday. I'm going to go to that. Just auditions. I got one coming up again, and then I think next week my agent set me aside for like a mocap audition. Can't tell what it's about because I'm not allowed to share it online apparently. But it's been getting hectic because usually right before Christmas, like that November, it's just like you usually get like every week aside, so. That's been kind of that, juggling that act while, a friend of mine and we got into a development lab for a feature film. So we've got this really cool Indian zombie wedding script that we're working on, and a development lab just was like, oh, this is great. And, it's so we're in that right now. It's going to be in 2 weeks. So we're just prepping everything, your little pitch Bibles, your packages, every little stuff like that. In the meantime, while I'm doing this, I'm just like, no, I just want to play some games because I just want some free time, and
I'm just relax.
Yeah, but instead of using a controller, I've been using keyboard and mouse because I've been playing Age of Empires 4 on the PC, and I don't know how that works on my 10-year-old PC, but it's on minimum specs, so it doesn't look as pretty as all the other high-end specs.
The fact that it's even on minimum specs on your, I know what your PC is.
A piece of shit.
The fact that it can even run this podcast is amazing. So
it's a piece of shit. Well, I mean, I used to hate downloading it and uploading our YouTube videos because I would be like, oh my god, like I'd just be like, so I remember
it's done in like a second.
Yeah, for me, actually Dan even remember when that was so early on, and but here's the thing. They made the graphics settings so low because I think they knew there were going to be a lot of people who had old PCs, old players who were going to play that. So they were pretty smart about it. At the same time, I have seen videos of the higher end version of that game, and it does look gorgeous. Unfortunately, I can't see it. That's why I'm hoping there's an Xbox console version down the line.
I'll stream it to you. I'll download it, and then I'll stream it to you.
I would love to play Skirmish on that game because... I'm playing the campaign. Everybody's talking about the whole like History Channel aspect of the campaign, and I'm kind of like bored of it. It's pretty cool with they're showing like modern videos and they're showing these like animated like characters on it. But I just remember the days when I was a kid and I loved seeing like like these little small characters walking around talking, and that whole like old school RTS campaign modes in like Warcraft and Age of Empires 2 and even in 3. It's just not there anymore. So I was just like, this is the only part that I'm just kind of annoyed with. But as a game, it's really good, extremely safe. Feels exactly like Age of Empires 2. So if you guys played Age of Empires 2, it's going to be an easy transition. They did some
never
different
played
things.
an Asian Empire. Ugh.
What?
I can't even
Empires?
say
Age of Empires?
Age
Never
of
played
Empires.
Age of Empires 2? That was like,
What
that's
was
like,
wrong? What does the
wow.
matter with me there? Age of Empires. I've never played one before. But I was playing Halo Wars, so I've been playing a bit of. I just actually beat Halo Wars the other day. So I've been playing a bit of RTS. So maybe I should try it out on my my laptop.
You should.
Maybe I can have it at ultra settings if your computer can run it at. My laptop can probably run it at ultra.
Yeah.
It's not even that great of a laptop. Well, it's a good laptop, but.
One thing I would want to say is that I think that that little team that they have, World's Edge, is good, but it was Relic that made it. And if Microsoft wants to buy any developers for their PC, I think Relic is a perfect team because I'd love for them to make Halo Wars, like a sequel to Halo Wars, but I don't think it's ever going to come in. I don't know when Halo Wars is.
You never know. Creative Assembly might be doing Halo Wars.
I heard it was canceled or something like
Really?
that. That's what I saw in the news. Well, here's the thing. Those are all speculative news, right? But I did like Creative Assembly's take on Halo Wars 2. It was very underrated. I think a lot of people didn't, it's actually funny you guys are talking about Halo Wars, but the first developer that made Halo Wars was Ensemble Studios, who made Age of Empires.
Age of Empires, yeah.
And then they got, and then Microsoft is like, you guys are done. And then after that, they're like, I think they disbanded that studio, and like Microsoft wanted to not focus on that team. So just
which is so funny. And now now it's full circle because now they're focusing on Age of Empires. It's one of their major releases this year.
And it looks like it's a good release because it looks like a ton of people are playing it, by the way. It looks like it's going on really well. I'm actually scared to play it online because there's just those players that are just going to kill you. So, yeah.
It's got a rough online environment from what I've heard. Like I haven't played it in a while.
Yeah.
I played all the way up to 3, and then I haven't played 4 or 5. But I'm gonna definitely download it on my PC. And I've heard that the online for that is just some of the players on there are ridiculous.
Which number is this?
Age of Empires 4.
This is 4.
Yeah. Third one came out. Yeah, third one came out like 10 years ago, I want to say. Like around... Actually, no. Third one came out about 15 years ago.
You would think thered be more than 4.
Well, there were so many expansions. There were so many expansions. Okay. Like 2 had...
it's like The Sims, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
And
Dan was thinking exactly what I was thinking.
But I think maybe that's where that community is, right? That PC community, like they'll play those expansion packs and those re-released versions, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Plus, it is one of those things where I think Age of Empires 2 was like one of those things in like the late 90s where like everybody who had like a gaming PC played it, right? It was like that and Half-Life. It was like there's those like those certain big games. I think Age of Empires was in that top 5 of like you're either playing Counter-Strike or you're playing Age of Empires 2 or some game from Blizzard.
And that's like PC gaming. And I was never like into PC gaming. Like the only PC gaming I was really into was World of Warcraft, I would say.
Yeah.
Like I loved World of Warcraft, but I never really liked playing a first-person shooter on mouse and keyboard or
me either.
Anything else. I'm definitely a console player from like when I was a kid. So
I mean, the funny thing is the only reason why I play PC was because of RTS games. But when Halo Wars made that really cool transition, I was like, I hope I see more console RTS games because I just felt like that is the one big problem with like RTS games. The time management is like a skirmish mode of one game, let's say a StarCraft or whatever. It could be like a 90-minute, it's like a 90-minute adventure. And you're just like, crap. Like, if we were to play a skirmish mode, us 3, I think it's going to take maybe 2 hours to finish.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
they get crazy.
It was a
time
lot
of build up
for
and
sure.
everything. Yeah.
There's, once again, the biggest issue is that, like time management when we get older and there's so many games coming up that it starts to
when you have kids.
Yeah, it starts to tax. I don't have kids. So I'd be scared. Yeah. And yes, absolutely. I don't even know how to talk now. Right now, I don't even know how to say absolutely right now.
I can't say Age of Empire. So, oh look, I did it. Age of Empire.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah.
But speaking of having no time for games and so many games, God, they keep on throwing games at us. Game Pass this November is insane.
Oh my God. So we can go through the list and then we got to, let's cherry pick which ones that we can talk about. But November 2, starting with Minecraft PC bundle. Dan, you're probably playing that. Unpacking, which was a game that I didn't really hear a lot about, but apparently there's some people that really like it. It Takes Two, which is completely well received. It's Jose Ferreira who made some really good co-op games.
It looks good.
He made Brothers and A Way Out, so it's apparently really good. Claim Kill It With Fire.
I want to see that.
Yeah, it's like a first-person shooter or like a first-person game where you're
you're like hunting and finding spiders. Like it's just there's spiders everywhere, and you have to find them and then destroy them in whatever way you can. It seems like, anyways. I haven't tried it just yet, but I've seen the ads for it, and it looks awesome.
That's true. Football Manager 2022. There's a PC version and the Xbox edition. I know like us three probably don't play this a while, but this is a huge franchise, and it's coming day one. It's a Sega game, but it's huge in Europe. This game is huge in Europe. It's got like MLB The Show type numbers for Europe. So a lot of people,
really?
Like American people, it's a soccer game.
Yes, it's not. Yeah.
Absolutely. American football.
Yeah. And then we got this like small indie game. It's called Forza Horizon 5. We never talked about it in our podcast. We never even. Nope. Just.
I don't even think we'll talk about it.
Looks like a fancy new game.
Oh yeah, that's true. And then just like they're also doing like a definitive edition on like another small game called Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Also, like never heard of it, but a big little piece. And then after that. By the way, we will talk about Forza and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas after the list. We got One Step from Eden, Elder Scrolls V, the Skyrim Special Edition update. So another Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Yeah.
More Skyrim. 10 years later.
I know.
God, it's been 10 years.
November 11th of 2011. And then
10 years later, and I'm still trying to convince my wife to try it.
Just do it.
In VR.
In VR would be pretty awesome. Yeah, oh yeah.
Yep.
Microsoft Flight Simulator getting a Game of the Year edition. Congrats for that team. Undungeon. I don't know anything about that, unfortunately. Evil Genius 2, World Domination.
It's kind of like like a zoo like
Tycoon,
like Villain Tycoon.
Okay. Okay. I kind of like that.
That'd be cool.
I kind of like the idea of being a villain simulator as well.
But man, that's only the
big
first
list.
half of November. Like that's only the first half of November. That's insane. Like there's at least 4. Like there's so many in there, but there's at least 4 or 5 titles I do want to play. Like
yes. Oh,
It Takes Two, 100%.
Absolutely.
And that would be a great game to play with your kids, Dan, because the second player, they can't die. You can't die in the game, so you can just like keep on going. So you might have, I'd say the older one would have have a better time with that. But man, Forza is going to be huge next week.
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to save time for Forza. I'm trying to, pretty much.
And I want to try this Kill It With Fire. Like, it looks hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the great thing. That unpacking game. So I want to talk about that for a second because Carly, my wife, she beat it yesterday in one sitting.
Wow.
It took her about 6 hours. She loved it.
She unpacked everything?
Absolutely loved it. Yeah, she unpacked everything. But the interesting thing about the game is you go through this lady's life from her childhood room to her like moving out of the house, going to college. And it's like unpacking stuff that you kind of see how her life changes and she gets married and finds another person. But the only thing my wife said, she said, there's an odd amount.
I can't hear you guys.
There's an odd amount of like panties in the game for some reason.
Really? Oh my god.
Like she was just like, I don't know why we have to. There's so many panties, and you have to arrange them, and there's this so much of it, but there is. So
Okay.
besides that, she loved the game, but she thought that was
A little bit weird.
I get underwear, but there's like 20 pairs of like different kind of panties. Like,
okay, all right.
We also get a little bit of early access to try Battlefield 2042 before it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if it's not a piece of shit like the beta was, because holy crap! Like I got into a turret
Hopefully
gun
they've
on a
done some
tank and
updates
it
on
just
it.
start falling apart. Like
Yeah,
it was just like shaking, like the driver had Tourette's or something. It was awful.
Yeah. We talked about it before. We got like all the map tearing and everything, and I'm just hoping that they hopefully got all that sorted out. And
I don't think so. I'm not optimistic about that, because it's like, I don't want to sound like whatever, but I don't know. I think it'll be on
Pass in 6 months. So
yeah, EA Play. Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah.
And yes, Dan. Also, Doom Eternal is getting a horde mode, completely free if you already own the game. So if you have Game Pass, that would be awesome too. I love Doom Eternal. So
also, what's their like battle mode 2.0 or something like that?
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
Doom
awesome.
keeps on I don't know if they'll do any more updates for the game now, but
yeah,
if this is the last one, at least they ended it off with a pretty substantial amount. Horde mode is endless though, right? Like
that's true.
If they can kind of just update that steadily.
Yeah.
Bring out some new maps and stuff.
Do you guys know when the Xbox and like special events happening? What day is that?
It's the 15th, right?
So I think that like the next 2 weeks of November, like we're gonna get some additional stuff. That's why it's such a like you only got like Undungeon and Evil Genius 2. I think this list is gonna be like the biggest November launch as well. Like I think I'm gonna see some really cool stuff.
Some of them. What's the latest one on here? November 18th.
And then Evil Genius is November 30th. But I think
that's just an update.
It was announced like a while ago, like a long time ago.
So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
I hope big things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I good. Battlefield.
Same here. I hope so too.
Still hoping.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't know. We'll see, boys. We'll see. I mean, I look at that and I go like, I'm like,
they don't need it. They got Halo, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just looking at it. I was like, do I need to buy that game? Not anymore. Once I saw that trailer, I'm like, I'm buying this game. Once I saw play that.
I really hope we see Fable, man. That's. I just want to see Fable.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see some snippets of some stuff. I think we're gonna see like some like FPS boost. I think we're gonna see some really good stuff that's gonna be added in. Maybe even like some Sega stuff or some originals. We'll see. Whatever. We'll
Japanese games.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We will. But for now, like we'll wait. Meanwhile, we should talk about some game announcements that just got announced. Including one that I think it's a pretty huge announcement, even though it came out of PlayStation State of Play. Now, I remember going like, oh, it was announced at PlayStation State of Play. Should that be only exclusives? And I'm like, no. This is when you got to look through, the internet and be like, is there an Xbox port? And then you're like, oh yeah, there is an Xbox.
An hour later.
Yeah.
An hour later, you just message on Twitter saying it's coming out on Xbox too.
Which I think is one of those things where you're just like, this is what happens when you're in like those like console announcements. You're just like they don't want to show it, and you're just like, anyway. We are talking about Star Ocean: The Divine Force, also announced for Xbox One and Xbox Series X. And I think this is good because this shows just the Japanese developers are interested in this platform. This is not the first time Star Ocean actually has come to the Xbox platform. Star Ocean: The Last Hope came on 360, and I thought that was a good announcement back then. I don't think it sold that well, but
I
maybe
played it.
I don't know. Did it on the
I don't think
360?
it sold that well, but it was there. I played it when it came out for the 360, but I think there was a Star Ocean after that came out on PS4. So we've definitely haven't had a Star Ocean on the Xbox platform since the 360 era for sure.
Yeah. So I have not played the games. Would you be interested in Star Ocean? And if someone like me is just like, what is Star Ocean? Because everybody tells me it's just Final Fantasy in space or something like that. Is it?
Yeah.
Or what is it?
Kind of. It's a lot more weebish, to be honest. Like cutesy.
Yeah.
Very, I would say almost more to like Kingdom Hearts, but without the Disney aspect to it.
Yeah.
But in space with spaceships, and it's just like it's a JRPG in space. Kind of think Sword Art. Have you ever seen like Sword Art Online? Or
Yep. Sword Art Online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that sometimes.
Okay.
But, it's just it's sci-fi, and it's always sci-fi. So it's hard to say like Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy can be very sci-fi sometimes, but it can be very fantasy, right?
And yeah.
So Star Ocean is traditionally a JRPG that has spaceships. You're usually a crew on a ship, and you fly to different planets. So that's traditionally what Star Ocean is mostly like. I remember it's been
Mass
years.
Effect.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah. It's like a JRPG Mass Effect.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm in.
They had a cool battle system from what I remember in the old one. What was it called? Last Hope?
Last Hope. Yeah.
You did like this dodge ability where you could like dodge around them and do this cool slow motion thing.
Was this space battles or people battles?
No, space battles, you jerk.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing, and it's nice to see that. Usually, when you see an announcement like this, you're like, it's not coming to the Xbox, like, and it is. So
that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess question number 2 to you back is, with like Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Arise being like a success on our platform, do you see Star Ocean as something of the beginning? More especially after finding out how many developers we have on board. I forgot that number that they said how many Japanese developers we had. We talked about it last week. It's like a 200, was it?
Yeah, 200.
Yeah.
So
I think we're easily going to start, because I think that's one market that Microsoft hasn't delved into enough before. And so like now they got the platform and they're starting to get the share and everything for it too. And just like Game Pass, xCloud, all of that, like it just makes it way more available for people. Makes it a much more viable option to try out these things and actually play them and everything, even especially for the like Xbox audience. Like I know I never really owned a PlayStation growing up or anything. Like I had a PSP, but that was about it. And like growing up, it was like, okay, there's all these kind of cool like Japanese games and everything, and maybe a little more like JRPG stylized games or whatever have you on there. And those were some of the ones that I never really got to experience much of.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
you get like, a lot of the other games, like you could still get at least a type of game that was kind of like that. There's a good first-person shooter on PlayStation. There's lots of good first-person shooters on Xbox and everything.
Yeah.
Like good action RPG or whatever on PlayStation. We had all those. There was a few like JRPGs and stuff on Xbox, but they were few and far between, and they weren't that big. So it's nice to see Microsoft finally, investing some money into it and actually growing that populace. And with Game Pass, I can try them out, and I'm not going to worry about spending $60 on a game I might not like or something.
Yeah.
Well, that, and I think their appeal in the Japanese market is starting to grow, especially with the Xbox Series S being very successful for them, cloud gaming coming there, and just probably growing in that market, having releases like Scarlet Nexus on the Xbox Game Pass service itself. And, we'll probably get Tales of Arise at some point, I would imagine, when sales slow down. So that's the great thing about Game Pass right there is you can say, once, the game comes out, there's a sales, the people who really want it go out and buy it. And people who will probably wait for a sale or come out on Game Pass. So when the sales start slumping, it'll come out on Game Pass. We'll enjoy it. But when it comes out on Game Pass, that also means it comes out on cloud, and that also means that JRPG becomes a mobile game. And the power of that,
especially in Japan, that's huge.
Yeah, especially in Japan is huge. So I feel like, I feel like wouldn't it be ironic if Star Ocean that gets announced on the PlayStation stage is like a day one Game Pass release? Because I would not be shocked that Star Ocean, that Game Pass could really broaden the appeal of that game, bring it to a new audience, show people that, hey, this game is something worth looking at and checking out on, and maybe making the other Star Ocean games backwards compatible. I really hope they expand that program, so I hope they talk about that.
It's interesting because sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say, I think it'd be awesome just to see it like originally announced on a PlayStation conference and everything, and then it just shows up on Game Pass and ends up getting more players on there.
Yeah, they're going to be so fucking angry. They're going to be so damn. It's an interesting thing you guys were saying, but that developer's got a big 360 connection. They made a 360 original called Infinite on Discovery. So they're I could see that. I could see, there's certain like those mid-tier developers that are, sometimes they pair with like Square Enix or something like that. They might be like, well, maybe, they could get some part of the financing from Microsoft to be like a day one Game Pass game or something like that, because, they might just want a bigger paycheck. So we'll see.
And, having Tango Gameworks in Japan makes them more appealing as well. And also, a major partnership.
Oh, look at you.
Major
partnership. Yes, which we should go to. Sega and Microsoft are entering a strategic partnership. Today, actually wasn't today, it was a couple of days ago. This is what the statement. We are pleased to announce that today that we are considering a strategic alliance with Microsoft to help develop Sega's new Super Game initiative, as well as build a next-generation game development environment. By considering a strategic partnership with Microsoft, we seek further advance for our game development so that our titles can be enjoyed by fans by all over the world. In this regard, we aim to build an alliance that utilizes both Sega's powerful game development capabilities and Microsoft's cutting-edge technology and development environment. That is a lot of company corporate talk, but in layman's terms, what is that?
What's in between the lines of that statement? Dan, what do you think?
I want to know what this super game is. Like, it's the whole initiative. Is it going to be like one game, a series of games? Is it basically just like a whole new world or whatever that they're just coming out with? And is it a metaverse?
We'll talk about it.
We'll get into that after. But yeah, no, it looks like it's cool. It'll be an interesting concept anyways. There's lots of stuff that comes to my imagination. I'm hoping it's something along the lines of like Ready Player One style, like a bunch of worlds in the same game or whatever that you can kind of seamlessly transition between, or how's that going to work? What's it going to do? How capable will it be? And how awful and glitchy is it going to be if it is something like that?
I don't know. What I find interesting in the statement is the partnership. We seek to further advance our game development. So obviously they want to start. So this has to be all to do with their cloud technology. So they probably want to run they'll probably start running their games off their Azure servers for their future multiplayer games, the super game and their next generation projects.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting is in the statement is Microsoft developing So what does it say here? Developing capable Microsoft cutting edge technology and developing development environments.
Yeah.
Like, what do they mean by that? Like, are they gonna like combine together and make like a studio environment in Japan? Like, I'm very curious how involved this partnership is with Sega in general.
Yeah.
From seeing this,
that
it
may
almost
even
seems like they're getting ready to buy them, right? Like,
yeah.
it almost feels like
I
this is the first stages of getting ready to purchase Sega as a company, to absorb them and put them into their culture of designing, and they're using their technology. So, yeah, what do you
I
think?
think Sega's famous for a lot of like smaller games and everything too, and like low res but high fun games sort of thing. Like Sony got out of the console market a long time ago, and they've still been developing a lot of different games. But I think based on what they're talking about, like game development environment and everything like that, I think it's gonna. They're looking at building their xCloud and seeing what they can actually do with that is a lot of it. Because I mean, they're gonna change how games are developed that way. Like their new Azure servers, their new like environments that they have to set up business development and everything, just like the whole SharePoint, the whole cloud world of all that, and like it's going to just end up becoming a whole different way to make games and develop them, because then you don't have to worry about the limitations of like one person's console or computer or whatever. It's not just about having a super powerful console or having the latest graphics card or having the fastest processor or anything anymore. They can do that on their back end, and they can develop their games to reflect that.
But this probably even goes further into not just Xbox. It goes into, they don't really talk much about Xbox here, more so Microsoft. Like, it'll probably go into, the whole company will now start using Office and their Teams and all their software and stuff, and they'll get a better deal on the licensing of this because of the partnership. So it stems a lot deeper than just like, hey, Sega, we could use Sonic or something like that, or we're going to use their Azure.
Yeah.
Like, the business part of their company is probably going to totally flip over to everything being Microsoft. But it really sounds like from this statement that they're going to be purchasing Sega, and I find that very exciting because, Microsoft came onto the console scene. They've been on the gaming scene for a long time in PC, but they came onto the console scene in 2001 with Halo and Dead or Alive 3 and some great Sega titles like Jet Set Radio Future. You can almost call the original Xbox like a Dreamcast 2.0. But so Sega, I feel like, has been part of their history for a long time, and I would love to see Sega CD, Sega Genesis, Dreamcast all incorporated. Even if they can't get the downloaded version of the game running on the console, they can get it all onto the cloud and give us some good emulation. But I feel like that is a gap right there, because then they'd be like, oh, we have the 90s right there. We have Golden Axe, we have Sonic the Hedgehog,
Afterburner,
Sonic and like some great Sega games, Phantasy Star, the original ones, Jet Set, Jet Grind. Like,
it would be a lot like what Xbox tried before, which was the game arcade or whatever they had for a while.
Yep.
You remember that way back when?
Arcade? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
I could see them like just actually being able to develop it properly now, though.
No, you were saying, Andrew?
No, I you know what? Everything you guys are saying, I'm like obviously just topping onto it, but I almost feel like they're, it's just that bridge gap before that they're purchasing. They're just like, they're seeing if it's working out. You know what I mean? This is kind of like the engagement, I think, before a potential purchase. That's what I think this is. They're just, I think they're just trying to see, what's Sega all about, and like maybe what they can help, and maybe they are a good fit, and maybe this is kind of them just being like, try this with us, try some of our services, because Xbox is obviously with Microsoft, they have so many other services that they can offer for a lot of companies, a lot of service-based things with Azure, as you were saying. Phantasy Star actually benefited by using Azure. If I remembered, Sega actually, because it was only in a certain region, right? When it came out, I remember they actually put out in statements, they're saying they couldn't have benefited without Azure. So I think this is, so I think this is it. It's kind of a start. Maybe we'll see. I don't know.
Well, question for you guys I have. So what's your favorite Sega property, and one you would want to come back in a modern take on it? Andrew.
I mean, okay. Damn it, I hate the fact that you said that. Because I was about to say Afterburner, but then I realized that they kind of there's already those Ace Combat games that's already made, but Afterburner was a lot more.
I don't think, is that Sega?
No, it wasn't Sega, it was Namco, but I just feel like Afterburner might be a redundant game, but I'd like to see a Golden Axe revival. That would be really cool. Or if I'm gonna be even I'd like to see even something a little bit more. Well, it's not that old, but even Jet Set getting a new update. You know what I mean? That was such a great game. Yeah,
you took mine.
I took yours. I'm so sorry. Let me just name everything, and then just and Dan. Let me just. No, I'm sorry.
No, Golden Axe. Oh, Jet Set.
Yeah,
mine's super obvious. I want to just see another Sonic game. I loved playing that with my brother when I was little and everything, and I'd love to just get my kids on playing that or something. They've made other remakes and stuff, yeah. But I'd love to see a re-release of the original ones, even on Game Pass or something.
Yeah, you should try Sonic Mania. Try Sonic Mania. I think you'd like that.
Josh,
I would like to see Jet Set Radio Future. 100%. I love those games. Give me a cyberpunk looking, very bright neon color Jet Set with crazy tagging and flying around on your rollerblades. Oh, I love that game. Oh. And the soundtrack. Whatever happened to that company? Who made it? It was
I want to say the team that made
Simples.
Yeah. It wasn't Sega. It was
well, Sega who produced it, but it wasn't.
Smilebit.
Smilebit. Yeah.
I think that was the team.
What did they do?
They made a bunch of other. I want to say they've been around for a long time. They're owned by Sega. They're a Sega team, by the way. Smilebit.
What do they still exist?
Yeah, they're still what ends up happening with I've noticed with Sega is that they keep naming a team, and then they will kind of defunct the team and put it into something else, and then they'll put that team back. The way Sega operates is they'll call it the R&D department or something like that, and then they were previously known as that. So they just got a new name, but they also did. Sorry guys, I got to add one more game. Panzer Dragon Orta.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. On rails.
Yeah.
Same team, really?
Yeah, same team.
Oh yeah, what?
Yeah. And they also made one other game that I actually bought on the original Xbox, but a friend of mine told me if I resold it, I would have made a ton of money, and it was called Gun Valkyrie. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it.
Gun Valkyrie, yeah, no, that was a great game.
Yeah, that was, apparently there's not that many units of that game left to sell as the Xbox, because it was so it's one of those games where for a reseller, it's pretty expensive. So if anybody finds Gun Valkyrie, I think you can resell it for quite a bit. That's what I heard. Yeah.
Unless you just bought it for quite a bit, then.
Well, maybe we can all visit these Sega games in the Metaverse.
Oh, the Metaverse. Yes. You mean the future, or you mean
the future?
The
physical internet.
That's that computer building company, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
One that's about to get a big payout from Facebook.
$20 million? Oh my God. Yeah. My God, before we start, I just have to say I watched all these videos, and I can't tell if Mark Zuckerberg has now turned into an android because he's just a lot more robotic. Like he's very robotic in this. Like he seems like he's the avatar. He's always like. So
I noticed he looked a whole lot like Odo from Star Trek.
oh my God. Holy crap. He's trying to kill Gul Dukat the whole time, you know what I mean? Just if anybody's seen Star Trek Deep Space Nine from that. Yes, he does. Okay, we shouldn't be like that. But yeah, I mean, those videos were a little bit...
there was some cringy moments.
Robotic.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about it. Well, the Metaverse is officially a thing, and it looks like big companies like Meta, well, now previously known as Facebook, and Microsoft are really trying to go in and build this as a platform. You know, we watched both presentations, and it looks like...
I watched the full thing.
Yeah, I watched...
the Meta one was very long.
Yeah, it was too long. I actually did some skipping, and what I ended up doing was that I went on CNET and then just like watched like the best parts of it. Like they cut up the clips. So if you don't want to watch it, just watch it on CNET. Like they'll cut out the clips of stuff, so that way, because there's some really boring chats there. But the Microsoft one, I actually really like it because I like Satya Nadella. I'm not kidding. I think he's a really good. I think he's a perfect guy to lead Microsoft right now.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, from watching both presentations, what do you guys think about this new frontier of the internet?
I think this is exactly why we haven't seen VR for Xbox yet. I think they don't want it to be VR for Xbox. I think they just want it to be VR.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to do Xbox things in it.
Well, did you hear what Satya was saying? He's like, Flight Simulator is a metaverse. Halo is a metaverse.
Yeah.
Like, he looks at all these places as it, and as I was saying last week, it's all about that in-between area to these metaverses. And when I was watching the Meta, it's going to be so hard to call them.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah, and the purpose of this, I'm just going to call them Facebook for now. But in the Facebook presentation, what they showed seemed a little bit more like based off yourself, opposed to like what Microsoft showed, where it's just like, oh, we can have meetings in these spaces and stuff. Where I kind of like what Facebook was showing with theirs was like, you have your own house and your own space, and this is where you can work out. And the idea of a commerce that is universal across all these platforms. So the metaverse will be, I feel like, you would go into Facebook's version of it, and it will have all these windows and gates to it. But I feel like there will be a common interface that will be like attached to your arm or something, and whoever owns that, because when you watch it, it feels like this is a new operating system, right? So when I was watching this, I was like, man, Microsoft really has to answer this.
Yeah.
Because they're essentially saying, we want to be your next Windows.
Yeah.
Microsoft has the advantage of being like, okay, let's just build this into Windows. Everyone already has Windows.
Yeah.
I feel like they're not going to even worry about it that much. I think most of like Facebook's servers and everything are already going to be like Azure servers and everything. Like Facebook's going to be just Microsoft at some point. It's not like they're going to like take over Microsoft or anything. I think they're just going to end up paying Microsoft out to be their like DOS, like their base operating system.
Well, what I think it needs to be is, one, it can't be based off it has to be in the cloud. So it has to be a separate, it's not like an operating system you have downloaded onto your computer. It'd be something you upload yourself into. So you'd be going into that universe. But I feel like all these companies that are going to go forward with this need to get together and have a agreement where, like, if a person purchases a shirt, this shirt has to be compatible with your system. It has to be compatible with this engine and this engine. It has to have a baseline code in it that shows ownership to the person, because the metaverse is not so much about going to websites. It's about the person, yourself, and how you want to express yourself and how you're going to interact with people online.
That's just it. I think what it's going to be is basically like all of it'll be running on Windows servers, basically. But Facebook is going to design those in-between places like you were talking about, and the whole like tool system basically for how you're going to be building these worlds from now on. So they're going to be handling the management between, like the go-between there, because it'll all be based on like, it'll be running on a Windows computer, but then it's going to put you into your Facebook space where you're going to end up in your metaverse now, where you're going to be able to have like those multiple worlds. They have like the business section where it's just going to be like, meetings and smaller rooms and everything and presentation-based stuff, and more like very much Iron Man inspired, where he's building his Iron Man armor and he can pull things apart and look at them and put them all back together and kind of be right there. You can stand next to someone and walk them through using their computer or something.
Yeah, you can almost say in the metaverse, it's not like an operating system. It's not one operating system. You can deal with many things. It can be whatever you want.
It's going to be the tools to build your own operating system and whatever kind of main platform that you want to do that on, whether it's a gaming world or you're doing like an office with like different presentation things, because they're going to have different reporting setups, and like your personal space like you're talking about, just have your own home space where you feel like you're in your own space and you've got either more or less or exactly what you've got kind of at your actual home. For a lot of people living in apartments and stuff, they could have massive mansions or whatever. You can go and play with your friends in this really nice space instead of having to clean up your whole house and do it.
Ready Player One.
Yeah. You can come and hang out. And they were showing also augmented glasses that kind of just look like a pair of Ray-Bans. That's probably something that's more far out in the future. But
well, a lot of it's happening now. They were even saying it works on like the Microsoft Lens and then the Oculus Quest and everything. So it's going to end up being a lot more like present, and they're doing testing and everything on it right now. I know my old boss had just left and gone to another company where he's launching that program at that company. They like just make like food equipment and everything, like food manufacturing equipment and stuff. Mm-hmm. And like he's saying like, he's launching with the Microsoft Lens. Like he's running test pilots and everything and trying to figure out how they're going to use this to actually like interact with their day-to-day.
There you go.
I got a question.
So, it's definitely the future. Question?
Yeah.
Question for me?
Yeah. Oh, all of you. Is that, you know what, like obviously Facebook is also making these hardware products that's coming in line, right? Like I believe 2022 is what you're expected for the potential next Oculus, or I think it was called Cambria. I don't think it's even called Oculus.
They're high-end AR and VR headset.
I mean,
I'm super excited about that.
I think that looks amazing. But, Phil Spencer recently said we're not going to go to the hardware. But then with, Satya Nadella saying this, do you think they're going to make some sort of, potential hardware for something like that to be part of the metaverse? I feel like they're going to want to do something.
Even as long as it's interfacing. As long as it's interfacing with a Windows computer. So the thing with this whole metaverse thing is and it already exists in VR chat, is there's going to be a class system in this world. It's going to be people who, it sounds funny, but
but it's true.
It's
already happening.
It's already happening in VR chat.
Yeah.
There's worlds where you can't even get in if you don't have full body tracking. There's worlds that are so high fidelity in how they look that a person with just the Quest can't even run it at all because it's running off a mobile chip. You have to have a high-end PC for it. So there is already a class system, and it's just gonna get even wider.
And even,
so it's nice to see.
Even mine with a higher end PC and stuff, and I've got older VR gear. It's it doesn't support it because I don't have the full body tracking or even full hand tracking and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what's exciting about next year's model with the AR, VR. It looks like it will have like at least the whole top half of your body. The cameras will be able to do full top half body tracking. And, you know, if you can get your legs, you can add a couple attachments to do full body tracking. And then you can up yourself into the class system and go into the full body tracking worlds and stuff. Man, VR chat is it's a very horny place, man.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Oh man.
My wife is just like, it's so hard to navigate the like weird, because she actually has like legit friends. So like you meet like legit people who are just like normal people. But then there's like weird like there's even some like ladies in there will be like just dripping out of their mouths, just giant like almost like naked it's just the weirdest place.
Yes. It's so surreal and strange.
Yeah.
So, and that's another thing about the metaverse. There's going to be the seedy underbelly of the metaverse.
I mean, I can't have my own gang.
That's just it. No matter how you slice it, like you're going to have like the separation there, and there's going to be like let's just hide those people as much as we can.
Yeah,
where there's where's the dark web? The dark web is like actually realized, and you can see it with your eyes, and it's fucked up.
Yeah. You know, the other thing that I'm just hoping is that this is all going to be a bit more consumer friendly, because at the moment I just find VR to be a pretty steep price. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The hardware is going to be one of the biggest limitations for a long time. I think the next 5 to 10 years at least. Is just like getting it in people's hands and having good enough hardware in those people's hands.
Yeah. I feel like I think that's why, you know what, like especially the new upcoming stuff is like not being completely like announced. Like I've noticed even PlayStation's VR, like they said they're going to have one, but they haven't even talked about it. I don't think we've heard a single thing about PS5's VR. I feel like that should be probably
not yet.
Yeah.
So what's their metaverse? I heard they redid the trademark for PlayStation Home. So that was kind of like their first like take almost on the metaverse.
Yeah.
I feel like PlayStation Home, that concept is perfect for VR. And when they announce their PlayStation VR 2 for their PlayStation 5, if they bring back PlayStation Home, they should 100% bring back PlayStation Home. PlayStation Home is made for VR, in my opinion, and that could really make that community. Like, how awesome would it be like, hey, let's get our PlayStation VR headsets and we can all just like go to the arcade and just like hang out and stuff like that.
It would just be fun.
I feel like they have a good opportunity right there. But man, PlayStation VR needs like this whole PlayStation PC initiative they're doing, and they have like their own.
You were just about to say what I wanted to say.
Like trademark for it? Like Sony, make sure your headset is compatible with PC. Like just make it compatible with PC as well. Yeah. Like why not? Like
you'll make more money.
And make your PlayStation VR games day and date with PC. Like you would sell so many if your headset is like legit good, like it's a good headset, put it on PC. Like, why would you want to? Like, that's where the VR market is. Like, I'm sorry, but like PlayStation, like you'll never get to where Oculus is at or anything like that nowadays, especially with things coming up in the future.
Yeah.
So they need to make that compatible.
If Sony had like a really good cloud system based or something somewhere, like maybe you could succeed otherwise, but I'm with you, Josh. I don't see a way that they could possibly succeed otherwise.
They make really good hardware.
They'll sell it, and I mean, like, they'll sell it to the PlayStation people that want it, but like you make it open to a PC market, you might actually make money at it. You might actually like start to build more of a presence there, because most of the people who played PSVR that I've seen, they try mine, and like it's not really as comparable. It's not as good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like PlayStation VR right now, the tracking is garbage, and like you try Oculus Quest 2, you're like, holy crap, like the tracking on this is incredible. And if their next headset is really, really good, man, you can get into this whole metaverse stuff with that headset, and you can be one of the most premier headsets on the market. Because if you have a headset that's compatible with console and PC, shit, that thing makes it like really appealing at that point. Damn,
Yeah.
like, right?
Apparently, those PlayStation VR games are really highly rated as well. There's like a few.
but their tracking still sucks. Like their headset is good, but their tracking sucks balls. Like you're using those like PlayStation move controllers.
Yeah.
Like it is barbaric, their tracking. So this update for PlayStation VR 2 is long overdue. So yeah, and if they want to get into this whole metaverse piece of the pie, one, make it, like I said, PC compatible, and make PlayStation Home on PC as well.
Yeah.
My only little thing before we go to our last thing is that I just hope Xbox comes in with something, like either not with their own version of a VR, but just makes compatible with Oculus or something else or something.
Yeah, just make it compatible with the headset. It's not like your hardware is not powerful enough, and just let the developers do it at that point, right? Like your Xbox Series X and S are more than capable. If that Oculus Quest 2 on the mobile processor that's inside it can run VR games,
I feel like the Xbox can run those high-end shit. Yeah, those high-end stuff that we're talking about, right?
I'm surprised they haven't just gone with the HoloLens or whatever.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was thinking. Like, I just thought maybe they would double down. But maybe it's just not affordable right now. Maybe they're looking at it and they're saying, this is not
They were the pioneers for the, like, Microsoft VR stuff. Like, they had a bunch of headsets and everything that were lower cost. They had just as good screens and everything, but they had sensors built into the front. So the only problem was the tracking, like you were talking.
Well, and it's also the hardware built into it. So now that 5G networks are getting more spread out, and like I guarantee you these AR glasses they're coming out with will not work in a non-data environment. It will be completely probably streamed through the cloud at the full experience.
Cellular
because then,
stuff,
because then they can remove that hardware portion. They're like, what's the biggest limitation of making something more streamlined to your face? Is the chips and the hardware. So if you can remove, well, it's not like you're removing chips, but if you can remove a good portion of those, like processing part of it, and the processing
slim it down to more of a thin client.
Exactly. Like, and it would probably be more like products like that are more isolated to probably city centers and places that have 5G, but like it's not going to be run off hardware for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll see. Well, all in due time, right, boys? All in due time.
Yeah, the metaverse could be a cool place.
But right now, you know what? Let's talk about the 2D world. The image that we see, this screen right over here, potentially lighting up Halo Infinite when it comes out December 8th.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Some cool trailers.
This was
marketing.
Yeah.
The marketing
and I'm glad. And I am glad because Halo always had, well, I didn't really like 5's marketing that much, but Halo always had some of the most beautiful marketing and live action shorts ever for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Halo
It
Infinite.
just made me want a TV show so hard that, like,
it's coming.
They sort of did, but they're finally
the TV show's coming next year. Yeah.
No, I know. That's what I mean. Is like before, like there was just they released these little live action clips where you just this looks friggin' awesome. Why is this not already a TV show? Right. It's like they released some animated stuff, they released some other things, and now they're finally actually buckling down and doing the full like live action show.
Side note, I'm excited for that TV series because I do really like the actor who plays Master Chief. I'm a huge fan of the show called The Wire, and he's playing Master Chief, and it's a really good actor playing it. So I think he'll, obviously, I don't, we don't know too much about the show itself except some of the casting. But side note, I am happy for that TV series.
Yeah, but this marketing, their marketing is definitely starting to ramp up, and they've dropped those couple trailers with the main. It looks like the main protagonist from one of them, just like doing his little speech, kind of like egging you on to Master Chief, and it seems like that's going to be a broader marketing campaign there. Like little like videos he's going to be like taunting you until like launch comes out. But then there's this other one, and this kind of brought me back to the Halo 3 marketing and almost a bit of the Halo Reach marketing, you can say, where it kind of also Halo ODST, where do you remember there was that one where they're all standing in the rain?
Yeah,
and their buddies like helmets on
with the music that I think was like a South African score with like the chant. Oh, so good. It was really cool.
And then like they see like the ship and they put their helmet on and the visor goes on and they like go in. I was just like, oh yeah, Halo ODST. Like, that was such a like those live action things get you pumped. This was really touching though.
Yeah.
Like talk about man, I wasn't expecting to cry in the morning, but god damn.
Right.
This was and as a parent, this like hit harder. So basically to kind of summarize for people listening, it was a soldier with his throat, clearly you can see a scar on his throat and he can't speak anymore. And it's him signing a letter to his friend's parents who he like looked at him like a brother and he died sacrificing himself. And the kid did such an amazing job portraying the emotion in it, and like you can feel it in the trailer.
It makes the universe feel a lot more realistic. Even just the depths they went into to show off the technology and how it's changed and everything. Like you see him, if you could see it live, if you're watching us, then you can see kind of part of it. It's showing that it's reconstructing. It's showing his like voice is calibrating and everything. And the sign language that he's using is actually translating to his voice as much as it can to actually convey the vocal message as well as the sign language. And it's reading his hands live as they're supposed to be doing it and everything. Like this is obviously like an imagining of what would happen, and they've probably just recorded it and then edited everything to look like this. But it just brings the universe that much more alive, and how they talk about like all the specific parts of the armor and how they started to show off like Master Chief's armor all spread out, and he's talking specifically about like the shield and everything that they managed to get for it.
And it just, I can see why Halo resonates with the like U.S. Marine Corps and just like people in the military in general, especially with like marketing like this. Like it shows like people in service.
Yeah.
The people who will die for your country.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like it shows this clip alone just shows people sacrifice, even though like we're talking about Halo marketing here, but
fictional sci-fi story. But
it's true. A fictional sci-fi story, but it there is you can relate it to the real world now, because there are people who have lived through situations like exactly what this guy is talking about, who's had to have this conversation with parents and stuff, people who sacrifice their life to make sure we can eat at night. And really I feel like putting a highlight on that is not a bad thing. And it's special. And I thought this clip was very special.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it gave me like Halo 3 marketing vibes. Like, and I feel like, they're back for that. Like that's what it's about. So I'm hyped, and I look forward to seeing more of these. I want to see like Spartans though. I want to see some action ones now. So you gave me the emotion. You hit me in the heart. So now let's see some crazy.
Have you seen the Blocks, the toy trailer that just came out?
Yeah, yeah. I've seen
That was adorable. But I was like, this one still, is better. So I feel like we're gonna get a few more and all that stuff.
Like I said, as a parent, this
Oh,
video, like, it just hits
beautiful.
harder, man.
Yeah, it's
Like,
beautiful.
it just hits harder.
Because
So,
there's like real situations where that's happening and everything. And like
Yeah.
it's
exactly.
touching to actually think about it and everything too, and understand like this may be a story that somebody's kind of come up with, but it relates back to stuff that's actually happening every day. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's people who you don't know this person, but your son, sacrificed his life to save mine.
Yeah. Beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. And I can't believe it's a sci-fi fictional video game story. And it just
Yeah, and I'm pumped, and I hope the TV show can invoke emotions like this.
yeah. I hope so
Like
too.
that, and I feel like that's where a lot of people are like, oh, what's a Halo TV show going to be about? It could be about stuff like this, like very heartfelt. Like that whole scene where Master Chief's going through the debris field and like grabbing the bodies and stuff like that and being very respectful. There's a heart to it, and I feel like people who don't play Halo don't really understand that, and I really hope they can, see these trailers and play the game and get that. So
it's one of the most well thought out, like detailed sci-fi worlds that I've ever gotten into. Like they've got a whole bunch of books, they've got a whole bunch of backstory, they've got a whole bunch of reasons why they were doing the things they were doing and how everything happened, and like all the way back to like before like the dawn of our time.
Yeah.
It's like they've taken our world and expanded upon it so much that they've changed it into a whole different universe, and it's still plausible enough that we could just be in it right now.
That is so well put, because I think about the fact that like the expanded lore, how it just started at 2001, like this base game of like, you're this Master Chief going to this ring planet, and like 20 years later, this game is like, the lore of it is just so luscious.
I mean, like Halo's based like what is it, a couple hundred years in our future?
Yeah.
It's like 22 something?
Like 25.
25.
Yeah, 22, 25. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like 500 years in our future, basically. So we're just like, there's way more advancement in technology. They're dealing with crisis situations that are already happening here on Earth and everything. Like there's these colonized worlds, and they had to create the Spartan team.
Yeah, they have full plans to food productions, like harvest and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And like they had to create these Spartans out of necessity, using like young children and everything, and like cloning them, and even like covering up their backstory.
But then there's the whole like darker backstory. Was it really out of necessity? Because they only made the Spartans to really go after human like insurrections and rebel groups. But then they started getting attacked by the Covenant, and they're like, oh, they saved us. But like there's and that's the nice thing. If you dive deeper into the Halo lore, it's deep. Like there's a whole ethics issue with this. Yeah. They stole these children out of people's homes and like left clones that like died like not that many years later.
That's the crazy thing. It puts you through that whole experience and everything of like a war, dealing with all these different things, and at the end of the day, it makes you ask, like, is it even right for this guy to exist in the first place? Mm-hmm. Like, shouldn't he have just been a regular kid who went and like died? Or is it like, are these sacrifices worth it and everything? It brings bigger questions, which in turn turns it into a great story and everything. They've got all of that detailed background, and it goes like 500 years in our future, and it also talks about how before we ever started on Earth and became who we are today, like there was a whole other alien race that we kind of relate to in the past, and there was a whole other race of people, which kind of explains some of our history and everything that we don't have answers for.
Oh yeah. I could talk about let's just talk about ancient aliens all day.
For non-stop. Yeah. And they were in these Stargate portals. And, and
it was aliens.
Aliens, guys.
Aliens.
Well, look at my hair.
The Covenant.
But you know what? It's nice to see some Microsoft's getting back to, because man, they were the best at marketing their games.
Yeah.
Gears, the original
their
Gears.
events.
Yeah.
Their events felt like military events and everything, like boot camps and stuff, and
like big events, man.
Yeah.
I feel like they invented the midnight launch for a video game, you know?
Yeah.
Halo
trains.
was that.
They treated it like movie premieres, you know what I mean? Hollywood movie premieres. You know what I mean? Like, it was like an event. I remember that. 2004, boys. It was like, I remember, like the life. So, well,
so
just like you felt a part of it, even like waiting in line for the release.
Oh yeah.
So this ad campaign is making me hype, and I December 8th can't get here soon enough. So
absolutely.
Where I was being a little critical last week, you know,
Mr. Far Cry.
Christmas is coming early this year.
Hey, I was more so talking about like the overall. I was trying to be in the shoes of somebody who doesn't have Game Pass and is not like obsessed with Halo like I am.
Yeah.
So.
And there's no battle royale mode, so it's just going to end anyway.
Yeah,
right?
it's just going to be 4
we
weeks.
Even talk about that.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be in the script, by the way. I thought it was going to be like, oh, is he going to talk about the whole battle royale thing? And I was just like,
you guys ever beat Reach? I just kept dying at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like, I keep going like, what the hell? Like, what's up with this?
I'm never going to get a chicken dinner in my life, so.
Yeah. This game needs battle royale anyway, so it's not like, you know, we're talking about this like game, and then after like 3 weeks, it's just like, we're going to forget about it, right? So
we're going to go back to Forza.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's it for this week. This is a wonderful episode, guys. It's going to start getting busy, boys. Just going to say, we're going to be playing some big games. So, yeah, we're going to...
might not have time to talk to you guys anymore. We'll be playing our games.
Yeah, maybe we can
that's
just...
why we do this every week.
Yeah, maybe we can just like play the game while we do our podcast and sort of talk about topics. I don't know.
Yeah, and Xbox.
We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
See. Anyway, Dan, can you do
Don't forget. Yeah, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on our YouTube page. Hit that like button and feel free to leave a comment down below. You can also find us on audio only on Spotify, Google Podcast. Just look for Xbox North Podcast. We're also on Reddit, Instagram. Look up Xbox North Podcast. And for Twitter, @NorthXbox.
Oh, thank you, Dan.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Oh, I really like that.
So smooth.
All right, folks. Thank you.
Good day, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye.